All right. Chapter 8, the final chapter in part 1 of Voyage to Lilliput, by Jonathan Swift. Yes, he is in Belfuscu. He finds a upturned boat, probably a pretty small thing, but he manages with a Belfuscian aid to drag it back, and is getting it all set up. There is an envoy. At first, the Emperor of Lilliput is like, oh, okay, well, he isn't aware of my designs. I'll just let him go, and then he can come back and be bound. When he doesn't come back, he does say something. He does send something saying to his brother Prince, that like, hey, send this guy back. He's been, bound and gagged. Send him back bound and gagged because he needs to be punished. At which the Belfuscian emperor declines, saying like, oh, we couldn't possibly do that. We just don't have the capabilities. You've just taken away all our fleet and all that stuff, or most of our fleet and all that stuff. So yeah, we can't do that. And he's quite happy to aid. He does make an offer to Gulliver to like, oh, maybe you can stay with us. But when Gulliver refuses, he's actually pretty happy about that. It's like, well, okay, we asked, but we're probably just probably really thrilled that this super wild card, this wild card that uses a lot of resources, and indeed they have to spend a lot of resources in wood and manpower and just outfitting him for his voyage. To get him away. He refuses to let Gulliver take anyone, even if it's by their own desire. So there's no little puttians around. He does allow him to take a whole bunch of cattle and sheep, both dead stuff, but also live stuff that he can take back, because he's quite eager to breed up the breeds, which is like tiny little cattle and tiny little sheep. I don't exactly see what the commercial appeal, but Gulliver thinks that there'd be great commercial appeal for them. Gets on the thing, goes out to sea, and he gets picked up by an English merchantman. There's somebody on board who actually recognizes him, that he knows, so they're able to that. At first, the captain thinks he's raving, but then it's like, oh, I showed him the sheep and the cattle and all that, and he's like, wow, okay, I do believe you. They get back. He does pretty well for himself. He shows off all the sheep and the cattle, and he ends up selling them before his second voyage for, I think, £600. He sounds like he's doing quite well financially. It's interesting, all this thing. Gulliver, if anything, is definitely a commercial guy. Pause for a second.